All right, so we have a system approaching tonight here that's going to bring us our first, basically our first real snow of the year tonight, or at least of the season tonight. I know we've had a few instances of flurries with lake effect earlier this month, but this is the first system that's going to bring our first possibly accumulating snow of the year, and here it is right here. We're looking at it. So essentially, it's right now still north of us. The first showers are still north of Butler, so we still got a few more hours to go before the precipitation and more specifically the snow moves in. So if we take a look at what exactly the system is made of, so basically this is looking at our sea level pressure, just your basic pressure maps. And so if we look up here to the north, that's our area of low pressure. And with it, where these little kinks are in the lines, you can see how they line up fairly well. That is where our cold front is located. And just behind this cold front is where we're seeing our precipitation that's changing to snow over northern Ohio, southern Michigan, northern parts of Indiana. Now, keeping that in mind, if we go over to our observations, we can see the front. You can see southwest winds still occurring over southwestern PA. Butler's supporting a temperature of 45. But up toward Erie, we're seeing a westerly wind and a temperature of 41 degrees, and even colder up near freezing in the southern parts of Michigan. So that's going to be heading our way tonight in the next few hours here. It's going to be a cold front moving in, and then that's going to be followed by periods of snow tonight, primarily after about 10 o'clock, running through very early hours of tomorrow. So if we take a look at our current radar here in Pittsburgh, again, most of the activity is still north of the city that's associated with the system, north of Butler, and much of this is probably not reaching the ground yet. We are still very dry, and it really is still relatively warm. Our temperatures right now at the hour I checked are right around 49 degrees. If I click on Pittsburgh here, as of 6 o'clock, we're at 49 degrees, and well, we were reporting some light rain, but it's nothing more than sprinkles, at least as of right now. But again, that's going to change tonight. The air is dry. You can see our dew point is 24 and our temperature is 49. So what does that mean? Well, basically, when the air is very dry and you have rain coming into the area, that's going to drop the temperatures and raise the dew point because the temperature and the dew point are going to want to come closer together to achieve maximum relative humidity or saturation. So basically, that means that the dew point and the temperature are going to want to come closer together. So therefore, the temperature will drop tonight down into the 30s, and that's basically a process known as wet bulbing, and we're going to see that take place here in a few hours. So enough of that. What's going to be happening later tonight? Well, as I mentioned, periods of snow. I checked the models. Some snowfall rates tonight, primarily after midnight or so, they could be heavier, but the problem is, well, this time of the year, our ground is still warm, and I'm worried that we might see too much rain at the onset. We're not going to see any substantial rain at the onset, only light rain, but that's going to be a gradual transition to the snow, which means it's going to take a little while for the snow to start accumulating over the next, let's say, 6 hours. The ground temperature is going to have to cool off, as well as our air temperature is going to have to drop below freezing, and that's really not going to happen until after midnight or so. So that's why we're not expecting any substantial snow. Calling it right now 1 to 2 inches across most areas, unless maybe in the ridges or north of I-80, maybe upwards of 2 or 3. But again, 1 to maybe 2 over Pittsburgh. At times I'm thinking even that's a little too much, just given all the factors that are going against us here. I mean, we have the precipitation. It's just the temperature profile that's not really on our side tonight. But nonetheless, we're going to call right now for 1 to maybe 2 inches of snow for most areas. And again, this is going to take place mainly after 10 o'clock tonight and before 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So by the time we wake up tomorrow morning around 6 o'clock, most of the snow is already going to be done. And what you see on the ground is about what we're going to get from this storm, besides a few more lake effect snow showers tomorrow. So in terms of any 2-hour delays tomorrow, very unlikely. Very unlikely just because of the fact that the timing and it's not heavy at all. We're not expecting substantial amounts. Your roads could be slick at times, but most of the accumulation is going to take place on grassy surfaces and elevated surfaces. Again, the ground itself is still fairly warm for this time of the year. So that's how it's looking tonight. We're going to drop our temperatures down tomorrow morning into the upper 20s. So it's going to get cold. Or if you look at the National Weather Service, 28 degrees calling for tomorrow morning. And then even colder tomorrow night, 22 degrees. We can see rest of the week gradually improving and moderating temperatures as well. So that's the situation for tonight. Again, the bottom line, nothing substantial. There will be periods of snow tonight. There will be noticeable periods of snow tonight, but nothing that's going to cause too much in the way of any disruptions. Most most of the heavier snow mounts are going to stay north of I-80 and into the ridges. So that's the latest update on what is going on here tonight.